Hello friends, this is in continuation to our earlier session on Sant Mat. Today we will be discussing about Dayal Bagh, Radhaswami Mat and Satsang culture. The faith was founded by His Holiness Param Purush Purandhani Swamiji Maharaj in 1861. Swamiji Maharaj, the founder of the Radhaswami faith, Shiv Dayal Singh Sahab, whom the followers respectfully describe as Swamiji Maharaj, was born on the midnight of Monday, the 24th of August 1818 AD in Mohalla Panni Gali, Agra, as the first son of Seth Dilwali Singh Sahab. He is believed by his followers to be the incarnation of the Supreme Being, merciful Radhaswami. He was from a respectable Khatri family, his father and grandfather being the Diwans in Dholpur state. His father was a devotee of Sant Tulsi Sahab of Hathras. Swamiji Maharaj was quick in learning and at a very young age acquired proficiency in Hindi, Gurumukhi, Persian, Sanskrit and Arabic languages. He also showed a keen interest in spiritual practices. It was soon evident that the prophecy of Sant Tulsi Sahab to Swamiji Maharaj's mother, that a Param Sant had incarnated in their family, was true. Swamiji Maharaj began to perform spiritual practices at the tender age of 6 and would often sit in meditation for hours in a closed room. Even as a child, he used to give talks to elderly people explaining the principles of true religion. He never needed or had any guru. He was the incarnation of the Supreme Being and had descended from the highest spiritual region and had assumed the human form at will. He would remain engaged in spiritual practices sometimes for 2 or 3 days at a stretch. He was physically delicate and his diet amounted to 2 ounces of cereal only. But he had tremendous energy and could deliver discourses without break for hours in a powerful voice. Whosoever came in contact with him was at once impressed by his extraordinary spirituality and saintliness. It was in the year 1858 that Saligram Sahab, who later succeeded him as the second revered leader of the faith, Radhaswami Mat, was one of his chief disciples, submitted a prayer that the doors of satsang be opened to the public. On the Basant Panchami day, the 15th of February 1861, Swamiji Maharaj declared satsang open to the public and delivered his message. Swamiji Maharaj said, "It is hereby proclaimed for the benefit of adhikaris that the Supreme Being Radhaswami, on seeing the jivas in extreme suffering and being subjected to delusion, has himself assumed the form of the Sant Sadguru and manifested on this earth for their redemption, and through his supreme grace explained the secret of his original abode, and teaches the method of attaining that abode by means of Surat Shabd Marg." Param Purush Purandhani Swamiji Maharaj departed from his physical body at the age of 60 years at 1:45 in the afternoon on 15th June 1878. The poetic compositions or shabdas and the discourses or bachans of Swamiji Maharaj were later collected in 2 volumes, namely Sar Bachan poetry and Sar Bachan prose. They contain the essential teachings of the religion of saints, the Radhaswami faith. The teachings of the faith. The teachings of the faith founded by Swamiji Maharaj may briefly be summed up as follows. The object of man's life is the attainment of the Lord's abode, and this is to be achieved by alleviating the spirit from its seat in the human body with the aid of the spiritual sound current internally to the region of pure spirit, that is, the region of perfect emancipation and salvation. The secret of devotional practices can be learnt either under direct instructions of the Sant Sadguru, who is in communion with the Supreme Being, or a person instructed by him. The three devotional practices are: number 1, repetition of the holy name at the seat of the spirit in the human body. Number 2, contemplation of the holy form of the Sant Sadguru at the seat of the spirit. Number 3, sound practice, which consists in concentrating attention at the seat of the spirit and establishing contact with the current of Shabd, that is, the spirit force, which is self-existent, intelligent and blissful. Let us look at some other important tenets of the faith. They are the service of the Sant Sadguru, which includes such service of humanity as may be directed by him, and thereby securing his grace and mercy and internal aid. Satsang, that is, congregational holy service presided over by the Sant Sadguru, where recitation of holy books and discourses is done daily, and association with the Sant Sadguru is available. No rituals or outward ceremonies are practiced in the Radhaswami faith, and no caste prejudices are observed. The moral code of the faith is: do unto others as you would be done by. And virtue includes all such thoughts and acts as lead one nearer to the Supreme Lord, while vice is all that leads one away from the Lord. The only conditions required to be fulfilled are as follows. Number 1, that the seeker would abstain from meat and animal food, fish and eggs, etc. Number 2, that he would abstain from liquor and all intoxicants. Number 3, that he would have the firm belief that Radhaswami is the true name of the Supreme Creator. Let us now look at Sar Bachan. Sar Bachan, the great significance of the Radhaswami Satsang, is forcefully described in the Sar Bachan, written by the first Param Guru Swamiji Maharaj. The Sar Bachan contains the basic teachings of the Radhaswami faith and also throws light on the relation of this new faith to extant religions. The topics in Sar Bachan include the method of performing the Aarti of Param Purush, Radhaswami in the presence of Sant Sadguru, the glory of the Sant Sadguru and his Satsang, the significance of the internal spiritual sounds, their secret, and the importance of listening to them internally for spiritual awakening, that is, Surat Shabd Yog. The position of Radhaswami faith vis-a-vis extant religions of the world. It also contains the descriptions of spiritual regions and their glory, the efficacy of bhakti and service to the Sant Sadguru and his disciples. Sar Bachan also has Barha Masa, the nature symbolism of Sant Mat, Basant and Holi. Thus, the Sar Bachan is a unique composition in the field of religious literature of the world. We'll now look at some beliefs of the faith. The Radhaswami faith believes in the continuous or unbroken lineage of Sant Sadgurus in perpetual succession until all of mankind is redeemed. A Sant Sadguru, as per the Radhaswami faith, is an emanation of pure spirituality of the Supreme Being, Huzur Radhaswami Dayal. The Sant Sadguru is in communion with the Supreme Being, and is his representative upon the earth. The faith lays down that in order to awaken the spiritual faculties, one has to become the disciple of the Sant Sadguru, whose inner faculties are already awakened. As per the Radhaswami faith, the Sant Sadguru goes through the process as other human beings of formal initiation into the faith and of participating in satsang and practicing meditation. But in fact, coming as they do from the highest region, they are already fully awakened. Sant Sadgurus of Radhaswami faith. Swamiji Maharaj, founder of Radhaswami faith and composer of Sar Bachan. Huzur Maharaj, the second leader of the Radhaswami faith, was Rai Bahadur Saligram Sahab, otherwise known as Huzur Maharaj. He was born on Friday 14th March 1829 in a respectable Kayast family in People Mandi in the city of Agra. His father, Bahadur Singh, was an advocate by profession and was extremely religious. His mother was an earnest devotee. It had been prophesied that the child would be famous and would benefit mankind, bestowing both religious merit and material prosperity. Well, it was mainly on the prayer of Huzur Maharaj, the second revered Sant Sadguru of Radhaswami faith, that Swamiji Maharaj declared satsang open to public on the Basant Panchami day of 1861. An ideal disciple, satsang open to public on his request. Huzur Maharaj was an ideal disciple and served Swamiji Maharaj with his body, mind, wealth and spirit, setting a high ideal of service and devotion to the Guru. Besides several other forms of personal service, Huzur Maharaj used to grind flour, cook meals and feed Swamiji Maharaj with his own hands. He used to bring barefoot pitcher full of sweet drinking water from a well outside the city. He completely surrendered to the will of Swamiji Maharaj. It was mainly on the prayer of Huzur Maharaj that Swamiji Maharaj declared satsang open to public on the Basant Panchami day of 1861, as already mentioned above. A shabda was composed by Swamiji Maharaj containing the prayer of Huzur Maharaj in this connection. I'll just recite two lines for you. Satguru se karu pukare, santan mat ki je jari. Satguru se karu pukare, santan mat ki je jari. Huzur Maharaj composed a large number of shabdas which were published in 4 volumes of Prem Bani. They stir and thrill the heart of devotees, filling them with religious fervor and love. A fortnightly magazine, Prem Patra, was issued containing his articles and appeared later in 6 volumes. Besides, he wrote a few smaller works, including Radhaswami Mat Prakash in English. He arranged and got published the compositions of Swamiji Maharaj as Sar Bachan poetry and his Bachans discourses as Sar Bachan prose in Hindi. We'll now talk about Maharaj Sahab. The third leader of the Radhaswami faith was Pandit Brahma Shankar Mishra Sahab, also known as Maharaj Sahab. He was born at 2:30 p.m. on 28th March 1861 at Varanasi. His father, Pandit Ram Chashn Mishra Sahab, was a professor of Sanskrit in the Queen's College, Varanasi. His father was a professor of Sanskrit. Maharaj Sahab had 3 brothers and 1 sister. He was married at an early age to Naiyaji, to whom Huzur Maharaj gave the name Shabd Pyari. Discourses on Radhaswami faith was composed by Maharaj Sahab. It is a beautiful prayer, and a few other verses also here in Hindi were composed by Maharaj Sahab. The most outstanding of his works, indeed, in the annals of religious literature, however, is the Discourses on Radhaswami Faith in English. The exposition of religion in the book is made on the lines employed in scientific research and the principles and experimentations. That is, the practical devotional methods of scientific religion are explained in this book. Sarkar Sahab, the fourth revered Sant Sadguru of Radhaswami Faith. Shri Kamta Prasad Sinha Sahab, Huzur Sarkar Sahab, was the fourth revered leader of the Radhaswami Faith. He was born after midnight on Tuesday, 12th of December 1871. Rai Kulwant Prasad Sinha Sahab, the respected father of Sarkar Sahab, was in the judicial service of the United Provinces and he retired as a sub-judge. He had 4 sons and 1 daughter. Sarkar Sahab was the youngest son. From his very childhood, Sarkar Sahab gave indications of being a genius, intelligent and wise. He had a prodigious memory. He was an expert at chess and was counted amongst the first 7 players of chess in India. He was a good rider and a cricket player. He was also fond of music and possessed very refined tastes. He was keenly interested in debates and literary contests. Sarkar Sahab presented to Huzur Maharaj a Hindi poem of 52 verses entitled Prarthana. May I just sing to you one line? He santan sir taj kripala, he guru deen dayala, he santan sir taj kripala. And he recited it in his sweet voice. He declared emphatically and in unequivocal terms that the Nij Dhar would not withdraw and there can be no break in the succession of Sadgurus, and that this arrangement would continue till the entire creation is granted redemption. During the regime of Sarkar Sahab, Radhaswami Satsang emerged as an efficient organization for the establishment of various Satsang institutions in the future. Sahibji Maharaj, Sir Anand Swarup Ji, was the 5th Sant Sadguru of Radhaswami Faith. He was born on 6th of August 1881 at sunrise in a middle class family of Aluwalias of Ambala. His father, Shri Lala Krishan Chand Sahab. They were Sahajdhari Sikhs and devotees of Guru Nanak. Sahibji Maharaj founded the Dayalbagh colony as the headquarters of Radhaswami Satsang. The foundation of Dayalbagh was laid on the 20th of January 1915 on the Basant Panchami day by planting a mulberry tree. Progress took place on the educational, social, industrial and civic fronts. He was knighted in 1935. Mehtaji Maharaj, Gurcharan Das Mehtaji, the 6th Sant Sadguru of the Radhaswami Satsang, was born on 20th of December 1885 at Batala in a respectable Punjabi family. His father was Shri Atmaram Sahab Mehtaji. In the summer of 1914, when Sahibji Maharaj was staying at Solan, he referred to Mehtaji Maharaj as Manzoori Nazar. Mehtaji Maharaj succeeded Sahibji Maharaj in 1937. Under his guidance, the industries of Dayalbagh made great strides. He stressed on agricultural work and seva, and many acres of land in Dayalbagh were cultivated in his time. Dr. M.B. Lal Sahab. Dr. M.B. Lal Sahab was born on 31st of January 1907 in Biswan district, Sitapur, His father, Shri Banke Bihari Lal Sahab, was a teacher who had passed MA and LT examinations and served in Faizabad and Allahabad and had then settled in Lucknow. Dr. M. B. Lal Sahab succeeded Mehta Ji Maharaj in 1975 as the 7th leader of the Radhaswami faith. Under Dr. Lal Sahab's guidance, the educational policy of Dayalbagh Educational Institute was established. Furthermore, great progress was made in the decentralization of production of daily goods through cooperative efforts. Satsang culture centers were established in selected satsang branches. Param Guru Huzur Professor Prem Saran Satsangi Sahab, the 8th and present most revered Sant Sadguru of Radhaswami faith, was a professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, IIT Delhi, and later became director, Dayalbagh Educational Institute. He has been instrumental in taking Dayalbagh Educational Institute, DEI, to number 8 position within the top 20 universities, deemed universities in India in 2010. Param Guru Huzur Professor Prem Saran Satsangi Sahab, the 8th and present Sant Sadguru of Radhaswami faith, was acclaimed in May 2003. Quoting his own words, inspired by the allusion to Trinity, both in the Occidental and Oriental religious tradition, I should like to view my life as a trilogy consisting of 3 phases. The initial phase, 1937 to 1964, spent primarily on the campus of Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, and mainly devoted to education and experience of the physical, material energy related world. The middle phase, 1964 to 1993, spent primarily on the campus of Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and mainly devoted to material energy as well as mind-intellect related systemic education and experience. The final continuing phase, 1993 onwards, spent primarily on the campus of Dayalbagh, translated literally as the Garden of the Merciful in Agra, and mainly devoted to systemic education and experience related not only to material energy information and mind, intellect, emotion, but also the science of spiritual consciousness, which transcends the science of consciousness in ancient India, CAC 2000, or cognitive science based on recent advances in neurophysiology and cognitive psychology. As per Professor Prem Saran Satsangi Sahab, cosmology in Radhaswami faith is all inclusive with regard to various religions prevalent in the world. It has followed a blue ocean strategy in charting out an uncontested spiritual space of the 4th lok, that is, the grand division of the purely spiritual region, which is eternal, and beyond Shar, which is perishable division of Pind, And and Brahmand, together known as Triloki, that is 3 lokas. Akshar, which is imperishable deity of Mansarovar, on top of Brahmand, and Nih Akshar, that is without Akshar, or the vast expanse of Mahasun as the barrier between Brahmand and Nirmal Chetan Desh. He postulates that life as per followers of Radhaswami faith is a life of better worldliness, neither worldliness nor unworldliness, which has evolved in response to 4 actions framework of blue ocean strategy, viz. Eliminate rituals, orthodoxy, superstition, etc., reduce unnecessary costs and wastage, etc., raise standard and quality of satsang, seva and abhyas, etc. and create new satsang polity, new devotional method, new Surat Shabd Abhyas, etc. for spiritual value innovation. The historical initiative has been taken by the Radha Swami Satsang Sabha by adopting the Murar Declaration, 13th June 2010, for forging unity among different Radha Swami communities. Furthermore, a conclave of religious leaders of various leaders has been organized on the occasion of Spiritual Consciousness Conference 2010, which is SPIRCON 2010, on November the 14th, 2010 at Dayalbagh, Agra, to promote fraternity, amity and heartfelt love and affection for each other among satsangis, that is, all followers of Radha Swami faith, across various Radha Swami communities. As per Professor Prem Saran Satsangi Sahab, the O theory of spiritual systems is fully consistent with the latest M theory of everything for physical universe. As per our 8th revered Sant Sadguru of Radha Swami faith, the blue ocean theory assigns uncontested space to all stakeholders of science and religion, making competition irrelevant. The White Mountain strategy, so to say, enables striving for achieving snow-white peaks and pinnacles of spiritual attainment for all adherents of Radha Swami faith. Professor Prem Saran Satsangi Sahab has related systems theory to universal consciousness realization, bringing out that the religion of saints prescribes a systemic methodology of the meditational practice of Surat Shabd Yoga. The object in view is to realize the highest degree of macrocosmic consciousness or ultimate reality or truth. He, however, also asserts that this requires a rigorous practice under the guidance of a living Sant Sadguru. In the Radha Swami faith, bhakti of a living Guru who is spiritually awakened is stressed. As per the Radha Swami faith, the Sant Sadguru is one who is an awakened soul and the representative of the Supreme Being on earth. Hence, we see that with every living Guru, Nijdhar as believed is transferred, and the series of important developments in the history of Radha Swami Satsang took place. We thus see that from the progress and strides thus far been made, a platform has been set up based from which Radha Swami Satsang is becoming ready to spread its message to all parts of the world. In Radha Swami Mat, Guru Bhakti is given greatest importance, that is, devotion to spiritual teacher in the religion of saints and Radha Swami faith. It is considered as the first step without which no spiritual progress is possible. It is not the religion of saints alone that teaches Guru Bhakti. Other religions that follow the path of devotion, that is Bhakti Marg, emphasized on the devotion to the Guru. The emphasis laid on living Guru in the religion of saints is based on a high religious principle. If the Guru is alive, the seeker can test him as much as he likes. And when he is convinced, he can attend satsang of the true and perfect Guru and derive full benefit of his association. Also, he can communicate with him and get necessary advice and help in connection with the difficulties he meets with in the course of his devotional practices. He can discuss with him and get his doubts cleared and clarification sought. Seva of the Satguru has been laid down in the religion of saints with the object that feelings of true humility and faith may be engendered in the hearts of the devotees. Whatever the disciple does under the orders of the Sadguru, gives him the benefit of service and devotion rendered to the Sant Sadguru. The Sadguru, on his part, does not accept any service to his personal advantage, but directs his disciple to perform such service as may be beneficial either to the disciples or others. In Radha Swami faith, Surat Shabd Yog is taught as one to hear the Radha Swami sound internally during this practice, as a result of which one can be spiritually elevated to the highest spiritual region. In the terminology of Sant Mat, it is called Surat Shabd Yog, and in the language of Muslims, it is referred to as the king of spiritual practices, that is Sultan ul Azkar. It is called Anahad Shabd Yog in Hindu scriptures. In the Radha Swami faith, the prime commotion is also known as Adi Shabd, and the prime spiritual current as Adi Surat. Radha is the name of the Adi Surat, and Swami is the name of Adi Shabd of the Supreme Abode. Radha Adi Surat ka naam, Swami Adi Shabd Nij Dham. Prime spiritual force current, that is Adi Chetan Dhar, must also have three divisions or regions. The Radha Swami faith therefore affirms that creation consists of three grand divisions. Number one, Nirmal Chetan Desh, that is the highest region of pure spirituality. Number two, below that, is Nirmal Maya Desh, that is region of pure matter. And further down is Malin Maya Desh, that is region of impure matter, which we also call Pind. They represent respectively the head, body and feet of the Supreme Being and His creation. Let us now look at the three grand divisions. In short, before the creation of all the spirit entities formed part of the Supreme Being, in the first phase of creation, under the influence of prime spiritual current, innumerable spirit entities were fully awakened and found location in Nirmal Chetan Desh. There were other innumerable spirit entities who in the second phase of creation descended to Brahmand, that is the second level, and were located there. Likewise, still other infinite number of spirit entities came down to the last and the lowest region, that is the Pind region, on the commencement of the third phase of creation. The extent of the pure spiritual region is unlimited and incomprehensible, eternal and infinite, as it is free from Maya, that is spirituality of lower order. When the contamination of Maya asserted itself to some extent below the spiritual region, two new factors came into existence. First, a barrier region was established between the purely spiritual region and Brahman, which is called Mahasunna in Sant Mat. And secondly, the extent of Brahman was fixed. When the second phase of creation commenced, inconceivable amount of spirituality of a lower order was cast off from the purely spiritual region, and therefore innumerable Brahmans, that is spiritual material regions, were created out of that material. Similarly, when the third phase of creation started, the barrier region between the regions of Brahman and Pind came into existence, which is called Chidakash. Along with it, innumerable Pinds, that is material spiritual regions, came into existence out of the material cast off from Brahman. Below Brahman, there is a vast field with minor creation in it, like Mahasunna, which serves as a boundary between the second and the third grand divisions of Brahman and Pind. At the lowest part of the boundary, the topmost regions of Pind is situated, with an upward opening into the regions of Brahman. This is called the third til, that is the third eye or subtle eye. It is through this aperture that one can catch a glimpse of the lower portion of Brahman. It is the portal through which the spirit entity passes from the third grand division into the second grand division. This is the moon sphere of Pind, and all spirituality is supplied from it to the lower spheres. Eminent scholar and researcher Mr. M. Jürgen Meyer, a professor at the University of California, after an extensive research concludes thus: Radha Swami faith is genuinely a new religion, a modern religion, a tradition in the making. The Radha Swami faith may be a harbinger of the religion of the future, not only in India but elsewhere in the world. Let us now look at satsang culture. Satsang means coming into contact with Sat, that is the ultimate reality, the truth, that is the Supreme Being, who according to Sant Mat is Radha Swami Dayal himself. He has incarnated first in the human form of Swamiji Maharaj and proclaimed Radha Swami Satsang open to all. An unbroken succession of Sant Sadgurus who have attained the highest region would continue to guide the destinies of mankind through Radha Swami Satsang. According to the followers of the Radha Swami faith, the foundation for the evolution of satsang community was laid over time and is developing a form of satsang culture which would facilitate the august mission of Radha Swami Dayal of emancipation of jivas, providing for their spiritual and worldly well-being in an optimized way. The august founder of satsang had proclaimed that the Supreme Being had incarnated in Sant Sadguru and gave out the secret of the highest region and Radha Swami Naam, which is resonating in all and listening to which internally one can reach the highest abode from where he came. This means to achieve this highest abode, Sumiran, repetition of holy name, Dhyan, contemplation of the holy form, and Bhajan, that is listening to the holy name internally, along with Satsang, that is remaining in contact with the Guru, and Seva, service to the Guru, would all lead us to achieve this highest abode. Maharaj Sahab laid stress on promotion of satsang and worldly needs of satsangis. Sarkar Sahab spoke of establishing a satsang center, and Sahabji Maharaj established Dayal Bagh as this center for satsang culture. Educational institutions and industries were then set up in Dayal Bagh, and Dayal Bagh was developed as an ashram with its unique lifestyle. Mehtaji Maharaj nourished the sapling of satsang culture with hard labor and taught the people of Dayal Bagh, if you want to eat, you must sweat first. And work is worship became the motto of Dayal Bagh. Dr. Lal Sahab formulated the education policy to give an opportunity to develop the educational institutions, giving impetus to satsang culture. He presented the ideal of service to humanity through education and put forth the root concepts of high discipline, humility, and cooperation. Satsang, Seva, and Abhyas, that is meditation, are considered to be the cure of all worldly and spiritual difficulties as per Radha Swami Mat. According to Sahabji Maharaj's proclamations, the person who has the qualities of Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra is a Superman and is the intended evolutionary goal of a Satsangi. to be like a Superman. As has been announced by Sahibji Maharaj, that Radha Swami Dayal has chosen the satsang community for the immense task of performing service to humanity. And it is therefore essential that the satsang community should resolve to act on the following guidelines. All satsangis should look upon themselves as the chosen ones of Radha Swami Dayal and important limbs of the satsang organization. All satsangis should without fail devote some of their time to devotional practices at least once in 24 hours, so that their internal contact with the sacred feet of Radha Swami Dayal may remain unbroken. All satsangis should, irrespective of differences of caste and social position, look upon one another as brothers and live in harmony, and regard it as their sacred duty to render help to one another. All satsangis should show proper respect to the revered leaders of every religion. All satsangis should regard themselves as the custodians of the honor and dignity of their religion and their leaders, and should on no account tolerate disrespect towards them from any quarter. All satsangis should look upon Dayal Bagh as their beloved home and exert themselves wholeheartedly to protect and promote the interests of its institutions. All satsangis should feel it as their bounden duty to present monthly a certain portion of their income suitable to their means as bhet, offering at the sacred feet of Radha Swami Dayal. All satsangis should make it a point to use Dayal Bagh manufacturers' goods in a spirit of love and devotion, and should, in case of need, look up to its institutions for relief and help. All satsangis should strive their utmost to make their children better than themselves, both physically and spiritually. For a person associated with the satsang, securing the divine pleasure of Radha Swami Dayal is the main and should always be the main aim of life. To live life according to the living Guru's instructions and to achieve purity, love and peace are the goals of satsang culture. The ultimate goal is to become a Superman and attain the pleasure of Radha Swami Dayal. Every satsangi is encouraged to live a life by following the teachings of satsang in word and deed, and thereby to be a living example of what satsang and satsangis stand for. Holding of exhibitions of Dayal Bagh products is considered as a means of interaction and association with the society at large to offer inexpensive consumer products of daily need to encourage a simple and wholesome living. Getting initiated into the Radha Swami faith is a multi-stage process where genuinely interested seekers are first screened. The satsang at Dayal Bagh has adopted a simple and well-appointed dress code for its members, and while there is no requirement to wear this dress at all times, it carries an aura of reverence and respect. As per the satsang culture, let us see what are the good actions and code of conduct. According to Huzur Maharaj, actions which take one towards the Supreme Being are desirable actions, while those which take one away are undesirable. According to Mehtaji Maharaj, the duties of a satsangi consist in be an early riser, be economical, industrious, truthful, kind and considerate, a good citizen and a true bhakt of Radha Swami Dayal. He said, if you want to eat first, if you want to eat, you must sweat first. If you want self-government, you must learn to govern yourself first. If you want to deserve anything, you must learn to serve others. Waste nothing has been an important principle of my life, he said. I have always advised men and women, young and old alike, to see that they do not waste their time, energy, thought, wealth, food, clothing, in short, anything that they possess, lest they find themselves in want of them at the time of need. He further said, I also consider waste as nothing short of sin. A community which wishes to go ahead with its work must remain united in purpose, thought, and action. It must also conserve all its resources of men, money, and materials, and exercise forethought and arrange for the fulfillment of its aims in good time. This can be possible only if every member of the community contributes his or her best efforts towards the attainment of the community's ideal. Discipline, self-sacrifice, and hard, sustained work are not only very helpful in this endeavor, but are very essential. It is therefore essential for each satsangi that as long as he lives, walks, works, reads, writes, or speaks, he should not perform any action which is against the wishes of the Sant Sadguru or which is against the pleasure of the Lord. Followers of Radhaswami faith believe that activities of the satsang community are executed such that satsangis are gradually developing the chivalries of the four castes to become supermen within themselves. Great emphasis is laid on education of women for a healthy development of the family and the entire society. Within the newer aspects of the education policy presented by Dr. Lal Sahab is the plan to actualize the Superman concept by education. Hence, intellectual capabilities are increasing and developing by the study of educational curriculum, religion, and Indian culture. Physical exercises and games, sports are making the body stronger. Education is helping to increase administrative capacity. A work experience curriculum at DEI and vocational education are helping to develop job skills in our students. All forms of seva work done within the boundaries of satsang and all voluntary activities related to educational curriculum are helping to inculcate spirit of service. Now the plan is to decentralize these activities and develop them further. As per the Radhaswami faith, how will satsang teachings spread? What's a good action versus a bad action as per the Radhaswami faith? We have these questions for you to recapitulate and write down. Sahabji Maharaj put forth before the satsang community aristocratic democracy, that is Aris Demo, as the model for governance. By aristocrats, he meant spiritual aristocrats who would be practitioners of Surat Shabd Yoga and would have an elevated level of consciousness. For it would only be such persons who would have true love for the Lord and compassion for his entire creation that would treat all on an equal footing. According to the followers of Radhaswami faith, the concept of Aryanagar was a dream of Sahabji Maharaj, and Dayal Bagh is proclaimed as the embodiment of that dream. The Sant Sadguru is himself present in Dayal Bagh as the ideal example of Superman. Followers of Radhaswami faith believe that by following the satsang culture, one inculcates the ideal of better worldliness. Better worldliness can be understood as a disposition towards life, by following which man can achieve the four purusharths of dharma, arth, kam and moksha to attain the status of a Jivan Mukt during his lifetime itself. A Jivan Mukt is a realized soul who visualizes the entire creation as the children of God, and his love for God translates into brotherhood of man. Better worldliness can be explained as a philosophy of or a way of life, where spiritual pursuits to attain superior consciousness and Puritan work ethics make a fine blend. Sahibji Maharaj propounded the concept of better worldliness. Better worldliness is thus the golden mean between worldliness and unworldliness that is advocated in satsang. Better worldliness can be seen as a combination of karma yoga, jnana yoga and bhakti yoga. Practicing better worldliness would usher in brotherhood of man and lead us to an integrated global community. Followers of Radhaswami faith believe that Dayal Bagh is the new torchbearer with the basic faith in fatherhood of God and brotherhood of mankind. It is based on the principle that service of the human brotherhood, far from being a hindrance in establishing communion with the Supreme Father, is indeed a positive step in that direction. Teachings of the satsang and the satsang culture aim at elevating the level of consciousness. The philosophy of the Radhaswami faith highlights higher states of consciousness which can be attained through, as earlier highlighted, Surat Shabd Abhyas, and once achieved bring about a permanent change of consciousness and disposition towards fellow beings in the Lord's creation, leading to fatherhood of God and brotherhood of man. It is only after one attains higher states of consciousness that he truly visualizes all of humanity as under the fatherhood of God, of same and one God. Well, addressing the Chinese educational mission in 1943, Mehtaji Maharaj said that Dayal Bagh is a colony founded by Sahibji Maharaj Sir Anand Swarupji in January 1915 as a permanent home for the followers of Radhaswami faith, a place where day in and day out the residents begin their work with prayers in the morning and also end their day's labor with the recitation of praises of the Supreme Lord. Sahibji Maharaj did not wish to see anybody idle, as he thought that idleness is the devil's workshop and most of the ills of mankind come from unemployment and poverty. He built various educational institutes and also started the industries so that the needs of the people from their childhood to old age, a concept referred to as maternity to eternity, could be met. Sahibji Maharaj, the august founder of Dayal Bagh himself, clearly defined the aims and objects of founding Dayal Bagh. He said, the colony and its institutions were established in compliance with the mandates of our revered leaders. A principle of our faith is that one must live on his honest earnings in order to perform his spiritual practices successfully. Industries were established to provide employment to satsangis to earn their living through honest labor. Many satsangi brothers desire to reside at satsang headquarters for spiritual benefit. They must not sit idle, and it thus became necessary to provide occupation to them. When people live at a place, they need arrangements for education, and hence our educational institutions came up. India needs people having technical qualifications, hence technical college, etc. were established. He further enunciated, our idea is that the rise and fall of nations take place as a result of the presence or absence of extraordinarily gifted souls, and such souls take birth only in communities and countries where they can get an adequate facility for carrying on their work. This is why we in Diyalbagh are making an attempt to maintain a pure spiritual atmosphere typical of India, and simultaneously to provide freedom and facilities for work as are available in the West. Mehta Ji Maharaj explained our ideals in the following words. Radha Swami faith is cosmopolitan in nature and all-embracing, respecting the founders of all religions and bearing ill will towards none. It believes in universal brotherhood and the supremacy of God and the spirit entity in man. It lays emphasis on the development of spiritual force and disregards all rituals and ceremonies, and is definite in its disregard of caste or class restrictions. Close and frequent contact with the leader of the faith and attendance at meetings presided over by him are essential for one's spiritual progress. Every follower must live on his own income and observe the rules of common decency and morality. All peoples are considered as the members of one big family, for that is how all should learn to live. In serving each other and sacrificing for common good, we find true life. In that spirit alone can we win war against the forces of evil and secure for the world a true and lasting peace. In seeking to be one with God, we cannot fail by devoting our lives to the welfare of humanity. Some questions for you. What did Sahibji Maharaj mean when he said spiritual aristocrats? Number 2, what is meant by better worldliness? You can just recapitulate what we talked, discussed, and write down in your notebooks. To go ahead, Radha Swami faith believes that satsang will spread to all parts of the world when people are attracted towards the satsang culture. Propagation of satsang teachings by preaching or outward publicity and display are discouraged. Thank you.